like it was a slow grind. Like it took me
Mm.
so long to even hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, and I would really get discouraged a lot. But the more consistent I was, it made me feel better knowing like even though I'm not getting the results.
Welcome to the Good Life.
Welcome back to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast, where we talk all things health and wealth. I'm your host, C. Muzan. I got Coach in the building. Say what's up, Coach.
What up, dog? Did I cut out? Did I cut out?
You cut out. I told you your mic is too
I
good.
thought I fixed it. I
No.
thought I fixed it.
Your mic is too good. You have a
Oh
good mic.
man, that's garbage. Listen, SM7B, Shore mic producers. Come on, man. I thought I caught it. All right, fine. I'm gonna have to change my intro then. I'm gonna have to change my intro. It's all good, though.
Or maybe just back up from the mic. See, you
What
know.
up, dog? How's that?
See?
How's that?
Yeah,
How's
that's
that?
much better. See,
I gotta lean all the way back.
all the way
You know
back.
what I mean?
Just the full
my
lean back.
gosh.
You just said off camera before this that you're using the same microphone that Michael Jackson used to record Thriller. So I'm sure he wasn't just up on the mic. He was.
But see, I'm not Michael Jackson. I'm more of a Barry White. Hey,
You see that?
how you doing?
No.
I'm more Barry White, man. I'm the thundering seal, the big panda, the black bear,
That's
the polar
funny.
bear.
All right, the black polar bear, whatever it is. Either way, we're here. Appreciate everybody that continues to watch, everybody that is in here in the Facebook group. Thank you for being in the Facebook group with us. For those of you that are catching this on YouTube, join the Facebook group. Jump in, join the Facebook group. That's where Kabi and I are giving you more on the health and wealth side of things. We are giving you more access. We're coming to you every single week, diving in and answering your questions, really giving you the resources, the tools, the information you need to go off and design your ideal life from both a health standpoint and a wealth standpoint, a financial standpoint. And we appreciate all of you that continue to engage with the content, continue to like and share and send it to friends, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all. And now we just need to do more of it because we got more people to reach. There's more people that need us out there. There's more people that need to hear the information. And so that's what we're here to do, share and spread the wealth and the health, right? How's your week, man?
Week is fantastic. A lot of good moves and upgrades here. We're really trying to up the content. Not trying, we are upping the content. And you guys keep an eye out because there's some good stuff coming your way.
Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. Anything good happening in Detroit? We got a special guest for y'all today. We're not going to spoil it. We're not going to spoil it.
We got to ask him. But what I do know is the Lions took another win this week.
Oh.
As big teams were dropping, the Cowboys, you Cowboy fans out there, your team is the most huckle and jive, or what is it called?
Team?
No.
Okay.
The Detroit, not Detroit, the Dallas Cowboys, Cowboys, right?
Clearly not
the
my
most
team,
up
though.
and down team I've seen in a long time, bro. Long time. They beat a team, was it 17, 2 games, 17 to like 4, in 2 games, 70-4. Then
70.
all of a sudden, bam, nothing, right? But, Lions steady. And I'm excited to see this because, like I said, I'm sticking with my Super Bowl pick. Lions to the Super Bowl. Let's go.
We will see. We'll see about your Detroit Lions. But either way, shout out to Uncle Jalen out there. Oh, I sent something else. Oh, we might have to mention it on the next one because I don't remember. But there's something about like
I don't either.
Yeah, it was like the first black HBCU in Detroit doing some shoe design, something. We got to get some articles on there. We might talk about it next week on the show. But always good to highlight.
No. Renowned sneaker designer, Next Generation Detroit's only historical black college. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I didn't read it. I didn't read it. I'm not a big shoe guy. I'm not really like super into shoes. You know what I mean? Like I like shoes, but I'm not super into shoes. It's probably because I couldn't afford them. So I had to take it out of my mind when I was younger. You know, you're not getting that. So I was that kid when everybody was wearing Jordans to the school bus, you know what I'm saying, at the bus stop, you know, I was wearing Shaqs, right? I was wearing the ones you got at Walmart. You know, shout out to Shaq for making it cheap for the kids, but also I didn't know I was getting made fun of that much. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, what you wearing there? Shaqs? I'm like, I thought they were cool.
Weren't those the pumps? Didn't they have a little basketball pump? Was that the Shaqs? Somebody in TikTok, let me know.
I don't think mine had a pump.
They used to have a little pump, the little basketball pump in there. You could pump it up. I don't know. I thought those were the Shaqs. They might have been something else. But I also am not much of a shoe guy, so I'm not the person to ask either. It is what it is. It is.
Yeah, I don't know if they had the pumps, but I know they sold them at Walmart. You know what I mean? Shaq said he put them out for the kids that couldn't afford all those shoes. You know, so I respect Shaq for that.
Yeah.
You know.
Shaq's a good guy. Shout out to Shaq.
Shaq is a good guy.
Shaq's got a bunch of stories out there, people that are telling his story of like him just helping people, blessing people, paying for people's food, groceries, cars, taking pictures with people. He's an all-out guy, stand-up guy.
Yep. No, I'll say that. Shaq is a good guy.
I heard he has a small Johnson.
Seems like it's a what? What did you just say?
We're moving on.
I also had a small wife. All right.
Nah, but either way. Hey, really quick. Today, our episode sponsored by a few people right now. Hey, ready to level up your style? The Good Life Visual Audio Podcast Store just dropped its first piece of merch with our exclusive Follow the Money t-shirts. There it is. I was waiting for him to show it. There it is. Those Follow the Money t-shirts. It's not just clothing. It's a statement of your commitment to mastering your health and wealth. So be a part of the movement and get yours today. Just visit the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast Store using our link in the description. And remember to always follow the money. Let's dive into a little talk, though. Since our sponsors wanted to sponsor this show, this part of the show, let's dive into a little shop talk. What's happening in the sports world?
Shop
You already
talk.
we got to get an audio we got to get a clip for it, right? Shop
right.
talk. We need a jingle. Somebody hook us up with a jingle out there on TikTok land.
Why you always asking for stuff for free, man? We got to pay for it.
Because listen, we don't need to. Somebody out there wants to support us enough to give us a jingle. Anyway.
All right, fine. If that's the case, let them bring it on. I'm down.
They will. Shop talk time. You already talked a little bit about Detroit, but what else has crossed your mind, crossed your plate?
Number one, Stephen A. Smith throwing out the first pitch at the Yankees game.
You saw that?
Was one of the ugliest things I've seen in a long, long time. And ladies and gentlemen, if this is not a reminder to stay in the best shape you possibly can, regardless of the money you have, the work that you're doing, the clout that you have, goodness gracious. I mean, man. And don't give me age, okay? Don't give me, oh yeah, he's old, so he didn't. No. We all heard Steve Harvey come on, 10, 15 years older, threw a pitch, and I love the way he said it, right? He said, I wound up, put some pepper on it, pop, right in the mid. God, that was so ugly. First three things to go. There's three things that go. Usually at the age of 30, like 90, I think it's like 92% of people lose the ability to jump, lose the ability to throw, and lose the ability to run, like sprint, right? After that, after 30, it's like all downhill from that. And we associate that with age. It is not age. It is literally use it or lose it.
Most people lose it, apparently.
Because they don't use it. I mean, how many times a day are you throwing a baseball?
Yeah, zero.
And you're more athletic than most.
That's true.
It's not saying much, but you.
But I could listen. But I could still get it to home plate. I could still, even at the ripe age of 37. Yes, that's what I am. 37. At the ripe age, I could still get it across home plate, sir. So I haven't lost.
I believe you can. It would definitely. You would not dribble the baseball across first base because that was ugly, man.
That was ugly.
Now, what I will say is it led to some of the best piece of television I've seen in a long time, where they just spent an hour, like 2 hours, just roasting this man. Had his sister call in talking about bubble guts. Had his had Snoop Dogg call in roasting him. Steve Harvey already mentioned. Shaq, we mentioned earlier, was calling in to roast him. I mean, it was some of the best piece of television I've seen in a long time. And I'll be curious to see what were the ratings coming out of that show.
I'm sure they were high. Everyone likes a good laugh, especially at someone that normally laughs at other people or makes commentary on other people. It was his turn. So
Exactly.
That's
Exactly. Second to that, man, we had the Miami Dolphins absolutely embarrassing the Broncos at 70 points on the board. We don't even have to say how much they put up, but 70-20 on the board, just absolutely dominating them, man. Listen, I think the one thing that nobody's really talking about here is the fact that Sean Payton, their coach, literally started off the season talking about Nathaniel Hackett, now playing over the Jets, offensive coordinator, did the worst coaching job he's ever seen. And then this man allows 70 points to be scored on his team. Like nobody wants to talk about that. No, we're just going to let him off the hook.
Clearly.
We're going to let him off the hook.
Clearly.
Sean Payton has the same record. I'll put this out there and then we'll move on. Has the same record as the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I forget his name, but the Husky dude, right? And nobody talks. What's his name?
Wade Phillips. That's what you're talking about?
Nah, bro. I think that was a couple years ago.
I thought that's what you meant back in the day.
No. I mean, like right now.
Like current.
Currently. Yeah.
Oh,
He has the same record, and nobody talks about the fact that everybody looks at Sean Payton as a genius, and nobody looks at this guy. He used to be Aaron Rodgers' coach. I forget his name. Whatever.
Sure. That's right. Chad said he shouldn't have left us in New Orleans. That's right. He shouldn't have.
Sean Payton. Yeah, I agree with you. Shout out Chad.
Yeah,
in New
Orleans.
Right.
That's right.
Maybe he should have, because I don't know if he's any good after Breeze left.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Either way,
I have a friend of mine played some golf with Breeze. Said it was real good. Played some golf with Michael Jordan too.
Oh yeah, Mike McCarthy.
That man is Mike McCarthy. That's his name.
Way to hook us up in the chat, Chad. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, dog.
That's it.
So apparently, I'm gonna tell this real quick. Apparently, Michael Jordan is an absolute gambling degenerate on the golf course, just throwing money around. Obviously, he has it, but it's just like a man's got a problem. Let's just say that. and lost to my friend.
Every hole, every putt, every drive.
Everything.
I got 10,000 on this drive. I got 5,000 on
this. And the thing is funny, he's lost. It's ridiculous.
Listen, still got to get it out. You still got to get it out, man.
Scratch that competitive edge.
Yeah. What lastly, this is something I brought up. I saw good old Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Ooh-wee. Match made in heaven. Out there having fun. The Swifties. Kelce, one of the top names over here in the NFL, making headlines, coming together. At first, people didn't think they were an item. Oh, but they're an item, y'all. They're an item. They're making some magic. I wonder what this turns out to from a business standpoint. This is gonna help both of them from a business standpoint. I'm sure their PR. I'm sure Taylor Swift's PR people said, "Hey, this is a good move. The NFL has a bigger audience than you, maybe, Taylor Swift. NFL is huge. Now people in that have no idea who she is are going to get to know her. If they're football fans, if they're following anything in the NFL, it's probably a good PR move. I wonder what businesses will come from this. I wonder when Taylor Swift will headline the Super Bowl, right? Like all these things are going to probably happen from just two people getting together, having some fun, maybe making some babies. But it's great. It's great. It's great. Great headlines to watch. It's great headlines to watch.
Calm down. We don't have to jump the babies yet. Let them get a couple of dates out. Let them feel things out a little bit. Listen. I will say this though, two things. First and foremost, she was cheering off. One sitting next to his mom. Mm-hmm. That's a big sign. You got to check it out. So make sure she can cook, which she probably can't. Probably doesn't salt her food. That's all right. Sitting next to mom and cheering awfully loud. Like I was looking out like this is a little more than this is spicy. This is like I'm trying to impress mom type of move, right? Totally. So that was really interesting. Second thing is, they said what she's made like $1 billion or is worth $1 billion or something like that. You might know that more than I do, but only person I heard of her in terms of female artist, guess who? In terms of money, Rihanna.
Oh, Riri.
Yeah. I don't know. It gave me a little bit of satisfaction to know that. It made my heart happy just to know that, because the level of blah 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 overheard, like I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Okay, what? I don't care. Her music, you know what I'm saying? Her most
She's a
recent
big
music
deal.
sucks.
I'm sure. In all
Big
honesty,
deal to who?
in the world in general,
In
like
the world?
yes, the world, like she is.
Oh man,
Yo,
stop it.
listen, there's debates out there. There's debates
Uh-huh.
that Taylor Swift has cultural influence that of a Michael Jackson.
Oh my gosh. These are people that clearly don't listen to music.
They just grew up in a
Michael
different era.
Jackson?
They just grew up in a different era.
Bro, when
Listen.
Michael Jackson, bro, I remember I was a snotty-nosed kid with no shoes in Africa, and I knew who Michael Jackson was. My grandmama loved Michael Jackson. My grandmother would like, there were people all over the world that were shedding tears.
And there is a snotty-nosed kid in Africa right now
Nope,
that
ain't no
knows Taylor
snotty-nosed kids.
Swift.
No,
That knows Taylor Swift.
that's not a thing. They
Yeah.
may know her. Do they like her?
That's
a different
different.
story.
You're right.
They like Michael.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That is a
They
different
like
story.
Michael.
That
I'm
is a
just a hater, man. I'm not a fan. I'm not.
You are.
Her
Anyway.
her first two albums were all right, man. But like, we gotta blow everything out of proportion. Like, she's some, I was driving over here in LA, right? And I saw a church, a literal church, the Church of Taylor Swift. No lie. I had to pause the car. I was like, am I seeing this right? The Church of Taylor Swift. And it had another sign that said the gospel according to Taylor Swift. I was like, this has to be a joke.
Did Michael Jackson have his own church? I don't think so.
Oh, he probably did, except it had
on to our next segment.
Yeah, let me stop before we get canceled. Yeah.
Hey, on to our next segment. We call it 2 by 2.
2 by 2.
That's right. Now, in this segment, it's time for us to dive in, where we're going to start giving you some tips and advice to you entrepreneurs and business owners out there. Some practical things that we want to talk about today could be dive in. Let's talk about building an online business. And what are your thoughts around people that are building an online business? Should they actually have expertise in it? Is it something that is easy? It's simple. What are your thoughts on people building an online business?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty critical piece right here. This is something I wish I had known as I was building my online business. And it's still important to know today. Is first and foremost, you have to identify an audience. But I think even before you identify an audience, you have to build a business around something that is authentic to you, meaning that you actually had a transformation in that thing that you're talking about. So if you're a business coach, you've actually built a business. I know this is a crazy concept, but there's a lot of people out there, particularly in the space that I'm in, that are coaching on things that they've never done. If you're a business coach, meaning, I'm a business coach who can help you get from 0 to 10K a month, you actually have done that. The authenticity rings through. Or I'm a health coach, right? I can help you lose weight, or I can help you get out of pain, or I can help you improve your speed, or I can help you do whatever it is. Have you actually done that? Right. And then then we start talking about how do you get the message out? What's your platform? What's your avatar that's going to respond to that message? What forms, are we going to use that? And we'll talk about that in other 2 by 2s, but this one is just about build a business or build around your story, right? And if you haven't done it, then you need to have helped somebody do it, right? And I think that's one of the most critical things. A lot of people are just looking for any which way to make money online. And there are a lot of ways, but if you're going to be specifically an online coaching business, right? Specifically an online coaching business, you need to have done the thing that you're trying to help people do.
That's huge. That's huge. And again, because there's a lot of people out there that are building an online coaching business, right? You want to coach someone through something. You want to coach someone to be a speaker, or in our respects, right? Coach someone in the financial space or coach someone in the health space. You absolutely should practice what you preach, have been able to do what you claim that you can do for others, have actually done it, and show people that you can do it. The other side of online businesses, though, are the people that just want to take a random product. Maybe you don't want to coach people. down the path. Maybe you're not building a coaching business, but you rather go the affiliate marketing side of things, or you rather just get a few products and learn how to sell them online. That's a bit different, right? Building a coaching business online and just selling a product online are completely different businesses, but some people would choose to go that direction also. You can go to certain websites. You can just find an affiliate link. You can find a couple things that you're like, yeah, I think this would be popular. You can set up a sales funnel. You can put some videos to it. You can put some marketing behind it. And then it just becomes a numbers game. I know a lot of people that have chosen to go that direction where they're not fully attached to their product. Matter of fact, the product that they sell or that they're marketing really isn't that special, right? It's something that they think a lot of people would need. It could be something as small as like a trinket, like, some type of household item that you could use. It could be some type of wellness product. It doesn't matter. But though that becomes a numbers game. That becomes how much are you putting behind your ad dollars? How are you converting? How many people are getting into your sales funnel, right? It's just measuring the numbers. So that part of building an online, like product-based business, you're really just looking at numbers. That's really what it is. It's you being able to measure the numbers and kind of know where your energy should go. But regardless, you have to still build that out. It's nothing in building a business, ladies and gentlemen, is easy. Some things may be a little bit simpler, but in all honesty, none of it's easy. You still have to get a skill set for it. You still have to practice it. You still have to put your 10,000 hours in to master it. You still got to read articles and books and watch videos and get some coaching or get some mentorship. You're still going to put money into it in order to get good. But there's a bunch of ways to grow a business online, whether it's product-based, whether it's service-based like coaching. So just got to get good.
Yeah, we'll get into a lot of the details of that because there are a lot of nuances to that as well. So as we go, we're going to set aside this segment right here to break down. And the goal is to actually help you make money, right? The goal is to actually help you put these things into play, because as the economy turns, having multiple, I wouldn't say multiple sources of income, but having the ability or a vehicle that you can ride or a way to build up a skill set outside of outside of your 9 to 5, I think it's going to become more and more important as we move forward.
I agree. Awesome. All right, yo. Hey, we got a special guest for you. Before we bring up this guest, though, another word from our sponsors. Hey, are you a busy professional looking to level up your health and performance? Look no further than our sponsor, Cut the Noise. They offer personalized nutrition, tailored movement programs, and stress management techniques to help you look, feel, and perform at your best. Here's the best part. You can join their end of the year wellness challenge, access to their app, and become a part of their community for just $1. That's right, $1. So don't miss out. Comment CTN90 and we will get you set up for success for this new year. That's CTN90. We're going to get you set up for success. So let's intro our guest. We got a real special one. We got a real special one here for you. As we bring them up onto the screen, I just want to give a little background. I have to take credit for this. This is me taking credit for this. I found this gentleman on TikTok, just scrolling through TikTok one night, and I see this young man. He's on there, and he said, "I'm here." What did he say? He said, "I'm here rating the worst rated restaurant in my city," right? And it was something that caught me completely off guard because my wife, she does some of the food stuff here and there. She doesn't really do like any of the food critiquing stuff, but she loves food. She's a foodie. So this was my first time hearing of a person that doesn't go for the best restaurants, that doesn't go for the most expensive food, that doesn't go for the wow, razzle dazzle, right? Smoke in the cup type of restaurants. He was going to the 1-star rated restaurants. He was going to the worst rated restaurants. And I thought from a marketing perspective, I was like, this is genius. And he got a follow. And from that point, been watching him, and he's continued to evolve and continue to grow. I put Kabi onto him. I was like, man, you got to check this kid out. Then we found out he's from the good old city of Detroit.
Detroit.
So because of that, we were like, man, we got to have him on the show. Ed, go ahead and pop on here.
Yes,
Uh,
Yes,
sir.
see me
The
now.
legend.
What's up? What's up?
There we go. We're
Yeah.
in Ed. He goes by Ed Eats over on TikTok. Same thing on Instagram, right? Ed Eats on TikTok
Yep.
or on Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram is Ed_eats.
Okay. Ed
Mhm.
_ eats on Instagram. Ed Eats on TikTok. You got to check this man out. But we needed to have him here on The Good Life to share his story and talk a little bit about how he got here. So Ed, we appreciate you jumping on the show, man.
Thank you for having me. I
Absolutely.
appreciate the intro. I don't like to toot my own horn, but
Listen, that was a genius marketing move. And so I'll save that question for right behind, because I want you to be able to intro and kind of tell everybody who you are, where you come from, kind of what you do. But that's going to be my first question, is just like, how'd you think of that worst rated side of things? But first, intro yourself, man. Let people know who you are.
yeah. So my name is Edwin. From East Side Detroit. Live here I've lived in Detroit my whole life, but lived on the East Side for about 16 years now. Um, yeah, I work as a business technician, so I teach small business owners how to use technology, help them like create websites and build up their social medias, POS systems, anything technology wise that they come to us about. We help them through a nonprofit, so it's free services. Um, yeah, I went to school. I graduated from Davis Aerospace on the East Side, and then I went to Oakland University in 2019. And then my second semester, COVID was like, y'all all off campus, so I haven't been back since. I do want to go back and get a degree though. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
That's dope. That's dope. So yeah, first question, man, like that being your kind of professional background, so to speak, how did you get into this food review side of things and trying these worst rated restaurants in your city?
Yeah, so I've always been like a big foodie. Since a young age, I've always loved trying new things. I'm really like the adventurous one out like my family. So they like when it comes to something new, they always send it to me like you should try this. I'll let you try this before I try it, type of thing. Um, and then I used to do ASMR uh years back. That's when I really got into the food. And then I stopped for a while. And then as TikTok started to uptrend, I said, okay, here's a platform I could start going actually heavy on. So I started going heavy on TikTok summer of last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just been up since then. Oh, you asked me about the worst rated.
Well, listen,
So I
like I don't want to speed past this. You started with ASMR.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into that?
that's a good question. I think because I was watching it.
Mm.
Like I would watch it, like see people like eat the food because I started watching mukbangs, but then turned it to ASMR. But like I think the eating sounds like they were cringy, but they were also satisfying. So it's like I should try this. So I tried it, and it was pretty cool, but it was a little weird at first. But yeah.
Did you have anybody like checking you out at that time? Like when you were doing the ASMR stuff, did you have like a following or anybody that was like, yo, like I want to watch you eat and listen to you eat?
Nah, not really. I think I had like 5 subscribers back then, but I was consistent though. I was just doing it really.
Yeah, that's a big deal, man. That's a big deal. So from ASMR and then TikTok starts picking up, and then you
And
started.
before you answer Chris's question, what we really want to know is the stroke of marketing genius and how you got there. First, a pleasure to have you on here, brother. Talk about like a little bit more about like starting out, like what is this, like 5 years ago, and how did your audience grow to this point, right? And why didn't you, when you stopped, why didn't you stop for good? Because you know a lot of people are trying to do stuff online, right? A lot of people are trying to grow an
Yeah.
audience. A lot of people are trying to hop online and do something. most, like 50% or more, never get started. A lot more than that get started and then give up. And so you gave that up, but you came back. Like, tell us about that process. That's
Yeah,
some resilience right there.
yeah, really. It definitely like I definitely had to like put the pride aside because it was like I was so small back then, but then I'm like, no, like if anybody can do it, I know I can do it. Like, so I really had to put that in my head. And even when I started back, like it was a slow grind. Like it took me so long to even hit 1,000 followers on TikTok. And I would really get discouraged a lot. But the more consistent I was, it made me feel better knowing like even though I'm not getting the results that I really want, I'm being consistent with it. And I really put in my mind like, okay, I want to do this. I want this to work. So the more I like told myself that, the more results started to come in. And then really, yeah, really, once I started to think outside the box on it, that's really when I seen the growth. So I won't get too deep into that before we get to that question, but yeah.
No, that's I mean, you said a bunch right there. And I think for
Yeah.
people that are listening, I mean, we talk about this a bunch on the show because again, the good life, making sure that you are designing your ideal life, designing the life you don't need a break from, right? We happen to talk about health and wealth, but before we would talk about relationships and mindset and right, a whole bunch of things that all kind of come into play with that. And the key to what you just said, it was consistency, right? The fact that like
Yeah.
even before people were watching or you even felt like, you were really good at this thing, you just stayed consistent and the consistency built a habit in you that says, I can do this. And that's the lesson right there, man. More people need to hear that because that's actually one of those keys to success in any area. It's staying consistent. Kabir will tell you consistency in our eating or in our habits when it comes to our health. I'll tell you it's consistency in your finances, consistency in how you choose to save money and those types of things. And you're just saying the same exact thing, right? It's consistency and you continuing to do what you're doing, put out content, man. So man, you said a bunch, right? Kudos to you. That's why we bring people on that are successful in what they do, right? Because success leaves clues. And those are the types of clues that people need to hear. So that discouragement part though, did you have anybody to like pep talk you, to like cheer you up, to any community to like bounce ideas off of or anything like that?
Not for a while, I'll say. Um, but people, I would say this, people will see when you really care for something and people will see that consistency. So even if it's one person, they see your video, they can scroll past it. But 6 months, they see another one of your videos and they see you've been doing it since then, that'll make them follow just off that because they see how much you care for what you're actually doing, how much passion you're putting into it. So once people started to see that, like, okay, he's taking this serious, then it was like, okay, you should keep doing this. I really like how consistent you are. I like your personality behind it. I like all these things that's what I started to hear as people started to actually see that, okay, this is something he's taking serious.
Right. And let me piggyback off of that a little bit because you said people taking you serious, and you had mentioned offline that one of your biggest obstacles, right, was people actually taking you serious. What do you mean by that, and how did people start to take you seriously? Did you do something different, or did the tone just change, or was it like water to stone, just consistency, like we were talking about? Talk a little bit more about that, man.
Yeah, I would say definitely consistency. Because throughout the whole process, the one thing I wanted to do was stay my genuine self. So of course I wanted to like play around with different ideas, but I never wanted to go outside my character and do something just to grow or just to see increase in followers. So I always want to stay my genuine self and do it because I wanted to do it because I like to do it, not do it because I wanted to see the followers or the clout or things like that. So once people once people start to see again that consistency, um, eventually they're gonna take you serious, because a lot of like with a lot of small business aren't actually businesses, they're more so habits.
Mm,
And you have to turn that habit into a business. So you have to turn this hobby into actually something you're passionate about doing. Because a hobby is something you can do a hobby anytime you want to. You can pick up a hobby at any time. But if you once you have passion about something that you're doing, whether that's a business, whether that's a career, you really you really want to take it serious before anybody else can take you serious.
So
So
true.
if you're taking yourself serious, people are going to feel that. People are going to see that.
So good, man. It's so good. That's wise words. Something that I've said in the past to some people is, if you treat it like a business, it pays you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it pays you like a hobby. And
Most definitely.
one of the things of business is consistency. If you have a business, businesses have hours of operation. They're open at a certain time, they close at a certain time. They're consistent with that. They don't just randomly show up here and there. They actually have a set schedule and things like that. So those little types of things are what what allow you to be taken seriously, because you're showing up, you're consistent, you're treating it like a business, and you're not treating it like something that you can just throw around here and there and do whatever you want with it. So again, man, kudos to you.
this is one of the
Appreciate that.
biggest things we can talk about, man, because Chris, I know you know this. Ed, you're speaking to it right now. I know a lot of people that saw me starting out. Man, I didn't even want to get on camera, honestly. I didn't honestly even want to get on camera to really do any and talk about that stuff. But then a lot of people see now and they're like, how do I do it? How do I blah blah blah? And then you tell them, and they're like, oh no, I don't want to be on social media like that. It's like, okay, well, you're not serious, right? You're not serious about this, or you don't love this. All right. So I think that's huge, man. And hopefully some people are going to watch this who are trying to get into this, or want to create, want to express something they love, turn their passion to profits, and going to take those tips that you're dropping out, you're dropping, because I think that's so clutch. And how old are you, man? Because you're dropping wisdom like you 45 or something, man.
No, I'm 22.
Stop it. I get you to talk to my brothers. Goodness gracious.
I always tell people, I could count on one hand how many days I went without posting a video. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how consistent I really had to be.
Yeah. Now, did you have any, because
Wow.
this is something that, again, since we're on this path, did you have any like reservation of being in front of the camera or talking or like posting a video? Because a lot of people that are getting started and wanting to build something are scared of what they're going to say, or they overthink their content. Or did you have any of those types of thoughts?
Yeah, most definitely. But then the best advice I can give on that is just really press record. Like, even if you're not ready, even if you're not set up for the video, set the camera down, press record, get ready on camera. Like, just really press record and just do what you do. Let it flow. Don't really think about it. Because a lot of times I have a 10-minute video that I'm only using 30 seconds out of, because really, like, I'm playing around with it. Like, oh, I can use this little clip, like things like that. So really just press record and just let whatever happens happens.
I love that. I love that. That's great advice, man. So back to you. The question I've been wanting to ask, right? How did we get to this worst rated restaurants? I love marketing. And that's like marketing genius there, because it's so against the grain, right? Before you, I can't name anybody that actively sought out the worst rated. I know people have given bad ratings, but not actively sought out worst ratings. So like, how did you come up with that, man? Because that's almost genius, man.
Yeah, so I can't take 100% credit for it.
Do it.
Do it. Take credit.
There is one person that I've seen do it before me. It was way before my time, way before I was doing these videos. Dame Drops. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but
No.
he he's far in the food game. All respect to him, but he does a lot of like he he's done like worst rated, best rated, all those. He's done everything. But yeah, I I've watched him. I've watched a lot of different other like food creators, food critics, food content creators. But I really wanted to find my own lane and find my niche, as I say. Once you find what makes you different, that's when you really set yourself apart from everybody else. That's when I started to see growth because compared to everybody else, nobody was doing what I was doing. So once I did the first worst rated restaurant review, it literally blew up.
Mm.
So it's like I found what made me different. So then I'm like, okay, let me make sure this is what makes me different. So let me do it again. And it blew up again. So it's
Mm.
like I found my own lane. Nobody's in the lane with me. And it was fun to do. I love the experience. And it's also like because I love trying food, I'm like, some of these reviews could have been just bad service. So
Mm.
like they could have the best food in the city and just have bad service. So it's like kind of like a Mythbusters type of thing for me. Like, let's see if this really a worst rated restaurant. Maybe they just had a bad day, things like that. So
Did you actually find that? Because from what I saw, bro, like they were all pretty trash.
yeah, they were all pretty trash. I mean, they I want to say there's like one or two that has like maybe one or two items that are decent,
Uh-huh.
but for the most part, they're pretty trash. Yeah.
That's wild. Listen,
Man, but we're not gonna skip over the fact that my man just dropped a MBA in that little statement right there. That he just come on, man, find your own lane. There's nobody in the lane with me, and that's when I started to blow up, guys. Oh man, I've literally there's coaches out here charging $10,000 to tell you that
Oh yeah, for
straight
sure.
up. Straight up, find your own lane, find your own niche. The riches are in the niches. All right. But it can be kind of hard. It can be kind of hard. But I think part of why, and Ed, I'd like you to speak to this, and Chris, you can speak to this too.
Yeah.
Part of why it's hard though is because one of fear, and two, people aren't really authentic. And I think this is me in the beginning too, weren't really one fear, two are not being themselves fully. All right. Are not being themselves fully. And you said, I don't want to do anything that's not me, right? Just to get clicks, just to get clout. Find your own, and that led you to find your own niche, find your own lane. And when there's nobody in your lane, it's turbo time.
it's
Yeah,
huge.
most definitely. I like to say you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So people people tend to like they want to be in their little circle. They don't want to get out their circle, but once you're not growing outside that circle, you gotta find somewhere around there to really see some different results. So of course you still want to be yourself, but you also have to think authentically to okay, how do I be myself and also let people see myself in these different ways. So with the worst rate restaurant reviews, it's still me doing what I love to do, trying different foods, being creative, showing my personality in it. Nothing about that changed, but I'm in a lane by myself. And once you kind of find what makes you different and see that it works, the results are going to show you. You're going to see those results. And then if you're not sure, do it again because you're going to see those results again. So it's a lot of trial and error. It's not easy to find your niche, but it's like trial and error, practice makes perfect, and really get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Those are
Love it.
life lessons. Life
I love it.
lessons, right?
I love it. You know
Comfortable.
what? Listen, Chris, I know you're about to say something, but I gotta get a question out here. That's probably the most important question we're gonna ask here today. And guys, if you're watching, I want you to pay attention here. This is critical. I've been telling Chris for a long time here that seafood pizza is a thing, right? This man Ed, go ahead. Go ahead.
Ed, you
we
tried.
laughing here. This is serious.
Ed,
This
you
is serious. No, don't. Hey, Chris, this is not a question for you. Let's respect
Listen,
our guests.
we'll
Let's
respect
respect our
them.
guests.
We'll
Ed, the
respect
floor is yours. Is seafood pizza a thing, please?
It is a real thing.
Oh,
It
Himbo
is a real
editor, I
thing.
need this clip. I need this clip. I need this clip.
Listen,
This is the only clip we're taking from this.
listen.
What you got to
listen.
say? Look at you,
listen.
rubbing your nose,
Because listen,
looking like Bill, looking
Listen,
like
listen.
George Bush.
this is the same comment that I put out there. Just because someone makes it doesn't mean it's a thing. You can put anything on anything. That's
You
the
are
way.
tap dancing like Gregory Jones.
But this is
man.
not
What
a
are you
thing.
doing?
Listen, is it so? And let me ask you, right? Is this a Detroit staple? Is this something that people come to Detroit for? Is like, hey, I just got to get some seafood pizza. Is that?
Not that I know of.
It's not exactly.
That's
It's
not what I said.
That means it's not a
That's-
thing.
That's not
like,
what I said.
No, just because that's what I'm saying. It's not a thing. Just because one or two restaurants throw some shrimp and some scallops and some Alfredo sauce on a pizza doesn't make it a thing. It's not
Chris,
a thing.
OG Chris, you're a great
welcome.
father, a great host, a great friend, a great, but you got to learn to take your losses, man. It's all right. It's all right.
Listen, we'll come to Detroit. I will decide if it's a thing or not. I just got to taste it.
Who made you the arbiter?
Doesn't matter. You're asking me,
What?
right? You're asking me. So we're
No, I ain't
I'm
asking you. I'm telling you.
I'm going to get to Detroit and we're going to see if this is a thing. The way it's a thing is if I can go to like 3 or 4 different restaurants and get seafood pizza and it be similar or good tasting, then it's a thing. But if it's 1 or 2 random spots that just happen to throw some, again, Alfredo sauce and some shrimp and some scallops on a pizza, on some dough, it's not a thing. It's not a thing, because then everything would be a thing. You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's all right. It's all
You're
right.
welcome.
See, I do know 2 places that have it, because after I dropped that video, people were commenting like, "No, you should have went to this place for their seafood pizza." So,
all right, well, I'll make it out to Detroit. We'll figure it out.
That's a lie. He ain't making it out to Detroit.
We'll be out there. We're gonna do a live show. We already got it planned. We're gonna do a live show in Detroit.
We are doing a live show.
That's right.
And we got to try some seafood pizza.
We have to. We have to.
Let's do it.
I'm not sure though that
you're invited.
You are invited. You're gonna have to host us, in all honesty. But I'm not
We gotta
sure.
bring Uncle Jalen on too.
We do need Uncle Jalen there. But
Bro,
I'm not
have you
sure.
met Jalen Rode, Ed?
Bro, let me get my sentence out.
No,
I'm
nobody
not sure.
cares.
Everyone cares. I'm not sure that we're gonna try the worst rate. That's all I wanted to say. I'm not sure we're gonna try the worst rated restaurants, because I'm sure it's not good for your stomach. Like, are you having any like intestinal things happening? Like, how are you feeling after eating some of these places?
so I do have a high metabolism, so not to get too graphic, but usually it comes straight out.
You're regular. You're regular.
Yeah.
You're regular out here. Okay.
Yo, this man is literally putting his body on the line for the art, guys. He's putting his body on the line. Because I'm not gonna lie, I saw some of those things and I had to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? I was like, oh Lord, no.
Yeah, it's been some bad ones, like some ones I was like, oh, let me keep my phone by me just in case I gotta call 911.
You ever got
Oh,
food?
my.
You ever got food poisoning though? Like, you ever got
Thankfully, not yet.
Okay, good. That's a good thing. I used to work in the restaurant world. That's actually my official background. Before I transitioned into the financial services space and started like teaching people money, I got an associate's in culinary arts. I got a bachelor's food service management. So I worked in restaurants. Me and my wife love food. My wife's a huge foodie. She's always eating and cooking and doing something in the kitchen. So I understand it, but foodborne illnesses are no joke, man. Like, oh, we lost them, but it's okay.
Oh man, I hope one didn't hit. I hope that one didn't hit. Oh man, let me tell you something, man. It is definitely no joke.
No joke.
One of the worst and scariest times I've had while we wait for Ed to hop back on.
Mm-hmm.
I was in New York visiting my uncle in Harlem, 135th and Malcolm X. I'll never forget.
Mm.
And I had stopped at a spot that looked good on the way. I gotten off the train, stopped at a little spot. I think it was like a Puerto Rican spot or whatever. And I gotten some food. I was supposed to go to a New Year's party with some friends. Bro, I got back to the house, my uncle's house. I ate the food. My uncle was like, "You're gonna be all right. Here's the key." He left. Bro, that night I thought I lost my life. I was on the floor. My wife, and then my girlfriend. I texted her. I said some last minute words. I said, if you don't hear from me, call 911. I was on the floor. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
It was so bad. So yeah, like, you're not kidding on that, man. Like, it was probably one of the worst. It was worse than when I got like all types of, I don't know. It was probably the sickest I've ever been. And it was terrible, man. I don't know what was happening to me. So yeah, it's no joke. So I'm glad he hasn't experienced that. But
Yeah,
'cause
likewise, man.
it is crazy, man. I found myself like half crawling right to the bathroom, half just crawling to the bathroom. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how this is going to end, but if this is how I go out, I'm not too happy about it.
Make sure I'm not I'm not pale in my casket. That's all. Just make sure I still got my tan.
I
But
don't ever worry
yes,
about that.
I know you don't. But yeah, foodborne illnesses are no joke. And that would have been my question as like, pay
Like, he said
attention.
no. Huh?
Yeah, he said no. Thankfully, he hasn't. But it's just a matter of time. You go to one-rated places, like their health department scores are not the greatest. I don't remember what state. So every state's health department is a little bit different. But if I remember correctly, in California, you could have rat or mice feces in your kitchen and still get
Oh,
an A rating, right? It's only like 5 or 7 points off if they find that, right? So, if you're at 100 and they find rat feces and that drops you down to a 93, you can still get an A, right?
crazy.
So Ed,
Crazy.
welcome back. We were just saying on this foodborne illness side of things, it's no joke. There's no joke to play around and potentially get a foodborne illness. Kabi gave a story of him coming to near death, eating some bad food. And I said, right, like again, working in restaurants, I remember, so I luckily worked for some bigger brands, right? Last brand I worked for was the Cheesecake Factory. So they have their health stuff like sewed up. So not only would the health department come for the state, but then like we had like their own like internal inspections that happened frequently. So we for sure passed, right, the health, the like state health inspector or whatever. So I remember, if I'm remembering correctly, in California specifically, I think it's only like a 5 or 7 point violation to have like rat or mice feces in the kitchen. It's only like a 5 or 7 point violation. So literally, if you get everything else okay, all the temperatures temp out, but then you actually have live rats or mice or they see droppings, you still have an A on your window. You can still get an A up there, right? So imagine the worst rated ones. If they really are the worst rated, and like, I don't know how the rating system works in Detroit, but in California, they'd have to put the letter on the window, like an A or a B or whatever. If these are 1 rated and then they got like a C or a D on the window, that means they had, 26 violations.
Human feces.
Yeah, like it could be really,
Oh,
really crazy stuff. So be careful out there, my guy. Be careful.
Nah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's wild. Like if
do it for the art. Don't listen to him. Don't let him scare you.
Listen,
do it for the art.
do it for the art. Sure. I just want you to be alive in 5 years, bro. But yeah, like if people knew what I knew about like restaurants and like just being back of the house, like it's just, most people wouldn't go out to eat, right? Like just knowing what happens back there. So it's something to be mindful of. And that kind of leads to like one of the final questions, or one of my final questions. Where do you want to take this thing? Right? Like where do you want to take it right now? You're in your groove, you're in your lane. I know you still are building this thing out, but where do you see it, man? Like what's the brand? How do you pivot? How do you change? Do you change? What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Thinking big. I really want to show. I want a show out of it, like a TV show, a kitchen nightmares type of thing. Because the goal in it is to actually see these restaurants improve, for them to like take the constructive criticism and move up from it. So, um, like a kitchen makeover type show to where we come into these worst rate restaurants. They don't do so good, but they actually find what's making them the worst rate, and they actually want to see themselves improve. So come back in a couple months, boom, it's now maybe 3, 4 stars.
Mm.
They got some better tasting food, no rat feces, that type of thing. So
I love
yeah,
that.
that's the goal in it.
I love that.
I love that idea very much.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
two shows that popped into my mind: Bar Rescue and The Prophet. Those
Yes.
two shows, Marcus Lemonis on The Prophet and then John Tafer on Bar Rescue, right? They more deal with like internal stuff, but like it's still the same like makeover type show, bar makeover type of deal or restaurant type of makeover. And they fix some of the operational stuff. You might be able to just fix some of the food stuff, right? It's just like, hey, this tastes like you don't even season this food, or like your oil is 17 years old. Like maybe we should change it so we could clear that, right? Like you can give some of those
Yeah.
types of things. I think that would be a good look, man.
Yeah, definitely Bar Rescue is something I kind of get the idea from because when I've watched it, I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's the one.
I like
That's
that.
so. No, that's awesome, man. Ed, listen, we would love to see that happen, and as that progresses, we'll definitely be here supporting you.
That's it.
Know you got a supporter in us. We will not be eating any of the food with you. We'll be praying for you, actually, based on what I've heard. You know, my mom, you know, Ghanaian cooked for us almost every day of growing up. She said, I don't know what they do back there. And oh man, I didn't understand. I wanted to go eat with my friends. I wanted to go do all this stuff. And now I can't thank her more, man, because I thank her for my health because she cooked every day, you know. Now, granted, we mostly ate rice and chicken, but it was good rice and chicken.
Good rice
Shout
and
out to
chicken.
jollof rice.
Yeah,
You know, if you've never tried jollof rice, you know, we got you on that too. But that's yeah, I love that plan to see you in the next 5 years and add your personality to it too. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So look forward to seeing that take place.
No, for sure. And
appreciate that.
we'll definitely talk offline, man, because that's honestly something that I've the other show, The Prophet with Marcus Lemonis, is actually something that I've thought a lot about. I don't think I'd ever get into restaurant operations again, but I know a lot about restaurants. I know a lot about back of the house and front of the house, like service. I understand it. So just being able to like maybe get some equity out of these things, it might be worth a conversation offline. And right, you keep doing what you do, building the brand, build the name, right? Start get people to watch you. Money follows attention. Money follows
Yeah,
attention, right? And you are building it out. You're getting the attention. So keep going, and then eventually there's going to be some business opportunities. So just like Kabi said, man, we're here. We're supporters. I'm glad I came across your page. Continue to do what you're doing. We'll eventually get out to Detroit and got to link up and go from there. All right, man.
for sure, for sure. Looking forward to it. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Before we let you go, let the people know where to find you. Give them all your handles. Let them know where to check you out.
Yep. So it's Ed Eats on all platforms. On Instagram it's Ed_Eats. So that's EDD_EATS and then EDDEATS on all the platforms. So that's YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. But yeah, check me out. Check comment what you want me to try. I make my way to go try it. I'll try pretty much anything. But yeah, appreciate that.
There we go. And I see you. The merch is getting fly. I see you stepping it up on the merch side on the videos,
Oh
man.
yeah, for sure. I yeah, that's another thing I really love supporting like local clothing brands. So when people reach out to me and ask me like, can they send me some merch? I'm like, for sure, I wear it in 10 videos. I wear it in any review. Like
Yeah.
I just wore some merch to like this Backwoods and Bonfire Festival that we had, and then wore this hat to another worst rated spot. So yeah,
That's what's up. We're gonna
Yes,
send you a
sir.
follow the money t-shirt. So you can have that one as a part of the repertoire, man. Follow the money.
oh yeah, for sure. Appreciate that.
Cool. All right, Ed, we appreciate you, man. We'll catch you at another time.
Yep.
All right.
Peace.
Coach, solid show, man. Ed's a solid guy. I know that good stuff is going to happen for him. And he dropped a bunch of gems too, right? For being 22, man, he dropped a bunch of gems. So
Fantastic, man. Fantastic.
That's it.
Yeah, man, great find. We love to support people that are doing things. So, if you know of somebody that we should have on the show that's actually doing things, it's particularly for me, is young folks that are really doing things, because there's a lot of young people out there who are not taking advantage of growing up in the age of social media, or not even just social media, but just being young and trying new things in the business realm, right? He said, COVID hit and this is what he took on, and who knows where it's going to take him. So I talked to a lot of young people, and many of them are too scared to step off the traditional path, to take some risk. And this is, unfortunately, that's the best time to do it. So, kudos to Ed. He's an example of following your passion, of being authentic, of being consistent, and building something out. So that was a really good episode, man. And we're excited to have more of those type of individuals on and dropping gems. And guys, listen, make sure that you grab your Follow the Money t-shirt and support the show as we continue to be consistent and as we continue to grow. It's going to help us continue to bring the good stuff to you as we go ahead and all pursue the good life.
That's right.
OG Chris, any last minute words before we let him go?
Man, you've said it all. Follow the money.
Appreciate it.
Follow
That's
the money.
right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you for your time this time. And until next time, peace.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel.
If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into the Good Life Show.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
That's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.
Welcome to the good life.